is Albert, middle initial F as in Fox, last name is Ullman, Ullman. I'm a native of Brooklyn, New York, but I currently live in Haymarket, Virginia. I joined the United States Marine Corps on June 29th, 1951, which was my 18th birthday. I served in the Corps for a total of 8 years, half of them in the regular Marines and half of them in the active reserve. When I was in the Marines, and after boot camp, I was sent out to Camp Pendleton in California for what's called advanced infantry training. What really was remarkable about that is that I was selected to be in what was known as the assault platoon. Now, that training involved demolitions, 3.5-inch rocket launchers, and of all things, flamethrowers. And I was trained specifically in those areas, and that was really a highlight of the early part of my career. I was then sent to Korea, and it was not voluntary and it was not involuntary. We were there. We were part of what was known as the 16th replacement draft. That is, we were replacing troops who had gotten there before us and were now heading home. As that group, the 16th replacement draft, we arrived in Korea on January the 2nd, 1952. On the way over, on Christmas Day, 1951, somewhere outside of Japan, we ran into a typhoon, which was another very memorable experience because the ship was an old four-stack troop ship which rocked and rolled and yawed and went left, right, and up and down all day long. Although the mess hall tried to serve Christmas dinner, it was an impossibility. Having arrived in Korea, I was assigned to the Weapons Company, 1st Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division. And I joined them at a little town called Inje, I-N-J-E, which was in North Korea. My first deployment to the fighting line, the main line of resistance, known as the MLR, was via helicopter. And there's a photograph of the helicopter that I boarded and the helicopter where it landed. And I did land on that particular landing pad on a hill called 881 North. 884 North on approximately January the 10th of 1952. Other photographs that you see there are alignment of my guns, which were 81 millimeter mortars, because I was transferred into the mortar platoon and never did get to the assault platoon. And I became a squad leader and had 2 guns under my command. You can see in some of the photographs that the bunkers that we lived in when we were up on the line. When I refer to the line, I mean up on the front line. And they were all made of sandbags and covered with heavy wood, etc. They would sustain just about everything except a direct hit by artillery. All was not always war. We did have downtime, and as you can see, I'm getting a haircut in one of the photographs. That's my gun squad. There's my gunner is on the far right. He's a gentleman by the name of Don Seiss. He was an expert gunner. My assistant gunner was behind Ronnie Marshall. Ronnie Marshall is an American Indian, a Native American, who is giving haircuts. And that's memorable because he's using a hand clipper. He pulled hair more than cut hair, as I so sadly remember. What else can I tell you? I spent approximately 12 and a half months in Korea. We were up in the Taebaek Mountains of the East Coast for the first 3 months of my tour. And in April of 1952, the entire 1st Marine Division was shifted to a line known as the Jamestown Line, north of Seoul. And that's where I spent the last period of my tour in Korea. The photograph of me, which shows me wearing a winter gear, a winter hat, was a photograph taken by a Korean photographer when I was selected to be on the honor guard for President-elect Dwight Eisenhower in 1952. A number of us Marines were sent down to Seoul to be on the honor guard, and we ended up being nothing more than guard duty. All the Marines were put on outposts and guarded the outposts. Before I went back to my unit on the front line, I had this photograph taken, and there it is. Back in Camp Lejeune, after my time down at a time in Korea, I was assigned to the 8th Marine Regiment, and you can see photographs of me. I was an aggressor at one point in a field exercise, and another point I was the Corporal of the Guard in Tent City. The last photograph for me to discuss was taken in July of 2017. My wife and I, my wife Claire Machowski Ullman, we attended a Korean War digital history project for social studies teachers, which was conducted by a Professor Hahn out of Syracuse University. The photograph shows my wife and myself posing with the air attaché from the Korean Embassy. I'm happy to be part of this presentation for the remembrance of the Korean War. It's called the Forgotten War, but I know that all of us who served over there have not forgotten it for one moment. So I salute my brother Marines, I salute my brother soldiers, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and sailors who supported us during that conflict. I don't know how many of us are still around. I am part of a group known as the Korean War Veterans Association. I belong to Chapter 313 out in the Shenandoah Valley. We are a great group. We hope that we can get some more of you to join us. I salute you. I hope you are all well. Stay safe and sound during this virus time frame. To all the Korean vets, I say, oorah. And to all my brother Marines, I say, semper fi.